listening to Honestly Aging by Friends Life Care VigR, a podcast where we explore what it's like getting older, the peaks, the valleys, and everything in between. In this season of Honestly Aging by Friends Life Care VigR, we're covering topics related to vibrant aging. I'm your host, Cheryl Proska. Let's grow old together. In today's episode, I'm joined by Georgia Larounis, who is a mindfulness meditation instructor. Georgia received her certification and training in mindfulness from the Myrna Bryant Institute for Mindfulness at Jefferson University, as well as the Program for Mindfulness at Penn Medicine. Georgia's mission is to give back to the community by promoting wellness and self-care through mindfulness. She has worked with a diverse group of individuals, including educators, lawyers, senior citizens, and healthcare professionals, among others. Teaching has always been a passion for Georgia, and that's no exaggeration. She spent 40 years as a public school educator before retiring in 2019. Her lifelong commitment to education shines through in her mindfulness practice today. Georgia, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you today?
I am well, and thank you so much for inviting me today, Cheryl.
My pleasure. So, Georgia, you're joining me today to talk about mindfulness meditation, especially the potential it holds to create greater wellness and balance for older adults. I also want to let our listeners know that to close the episode, Georgia is going to lead us in a meditation. So let's dive in, Georgia. Can you kick us off and explain what mindfulness meditation is?
Sure. Well, I'll divide that to first mindfulness and then mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. So research has been done on how much we are in the present moment. And the research shows that basically we're in the present moment about 50% of the time. And then 50% of the time, of course, we're not. Well, where does our mind go? Well, it goes into some very typical places. One is the past, where we're rehashing the past, reliving the past, going over scenarios perhaps that went south and what we might have done about those so they went better. But going into the past, that's not fruitful for us because it's done, it's gone. There's nothing we can do to change it. And it also leads to more incidents of depression and shame and guilt. The other place our mind typically goes to is the future, where we're planning for the future, preparing for it, trying to make it happen the way we want it to happen. There is a certain amount of preparation we can do for the future, but we really honestly don't know what the future is going to bring. It's quite uncertain. And so spending time in the future really isn't very skillful either. And it also brings with it the tendency towards worrying and anxiety. We have other habits of mind too. We fantasize, we problem solve, we multitask. These are things that our mind is often doing when we're doing other things. So we spend a lot of our life, about 50%, they say. I think for me, it's probably more, on autopilot, sort of doing the things that we need to do during the day, but not being with those things as we're doing them. And that's what mindfulness is all about. It's about being present for the moments in our lives as they are happening. Now, the act of mindfulness meditation helps us to come back to the present moment each time our mind wanders. And that's really what sitting and meditating is all about. It's a focus practice. And each time our mind wanders, we gently and kindly escort it back to the present moment. And our mind is going to wander, I assure you, many, many times. That's just what the mind does. And so each time it happens, it's never a problem. We just kindly escort the mind back to the focus of our meditation. So that's really the essence of mindfulness and the benefit of mindfulness meditation.
I am a person, as probably many others, who can struggle with stress. And I remember a few years ago just thinking, if I can do this, I'll be less stressed, or if I can do that, I'll be less stressed, or get rid of all these stressors in my life. And a kind friend said, you will always have stress. Start thinking about how you handle the stress. And that's relating a lot to me with what you're saying about just bring your mind back. How can I handle this the best way? And so I think I focus a lot more thinking about the future and having being, a worrying mind. And I could certainly benefit from being more gentle with that. So thank you for the reminder.
Sure.
Can you, Georgia, tell us about your personal journey with mindfulness and mindfulness meditation?
Well, about 18 years ago, I took my first course at Jefferson University in Philadelphia. The course is called Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction, MBSR for short. It's still taught at Jefferson and at most major medical centers in the country and in the world. And that 8-week course got me started on my journey. And it required of me to meditate every day. They showed us how to do it, and I did it every day. And I started a practice of my own through those 8 weeks and beyond, because I started to see the benefits in my own life of practicing. So it was its own reward for me. I didn't need to convince myself to meditate because I knew it was helping me. So that was the reason I continued with my practice. Over the years, I continued to take courses at Jefferson, at University of Pennsylvania, and at University of California at San Diego, which is another big mindfulness center in the country. And I just learned, continued my practice, continued to learn more aspects of mindfulness, and continued to benefit from what I was learning. And then about 7 years ago, as I was nearing retirement from my teaching job, I began to think about what I wanted to do next. And I knew I had something more to offer the community. And so I decided to teach mindfulness. And I went back to Jefferson, became trained as a mindfulness teacher there, and went out into the community to teach. So I have taught at public libraries, for agencies, for the aging, at healthcare communities, for teachers, for lawyers, and just basically passing forward what I have learned and what has helped me to the community. So that's really always has been my intention, to give back to others what has been given to me and what I was so fortunate to experience in my own life.
And I mean, you are just a testament to someone who has a vocation with teaching and education and sharing your knowledge with the community. So I do want to thank you for that and all of your service with the school system, as well as, teaching adults about meditation. I just totally an inspiration.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I loved my career as a teacher. I loved going to work every day, and I love what I'm doing now. It's still teaching, but now I'm teaching adults, as you know, and that's every bit as rewarding as my elementary school teaching was. So I'm loving this too, and that's part of the joy of getting up in the morning and doing something you love.
Yes, that purpose.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the benefits of mindfulness meditation? And if you can, especially as they may relate to older adults?
Yeah, sure. Lots of benefits to mindfulness meditation for all of us. But certainly as we get older, certain things tend to come more to the surface for us, which mindfulness can help. And one of them is it boosts our immune system, which is an important one as we age and want to stay healthy. It also helps us control pain, which, all of us experience, whether it's aches and pains, everyday aches or pains, or, migraines, anything. It really helps us stay more in control with that pain. It improves our sleep, which is a big thing as we get older, having some difficulty falling asleep or getting awake during the night and then trying to fall back asleep. Mindfulness meditation helps that as well. It increases our attention span.
Mm.
And that's an important one because as we're, going through our day, focusing on one thing or another, we want to stay focused with
Yes.
the person we're talking to or the thing that we're doing, the experience we're having, so that we can get the most out of it. And it also lowers our blood pressure,
Wow.
is certainly something that older people have the potential to suffer with. And that's another great benefit. So, all good, basically. I'm not sure there are any negatives to meditating. I haven't come
True. Yeah, it
across
doesn't sound like it.
any.
So, we're hearing the benefits, and we've heard about your journey and about what more goes into mindfulness meditation. I'm imagining some of our listeners are thinking, you know what? I would like to try this out. So, what are some tips you can share to get started in a meditation practice?
Sure. Well, so simple. Just find a quiet spot in your home, whether it's sitting in a chair, it could be reclined on a bed or a sofa. Find a position that's comfortable for you. So you're not going to be stiff in any way. You really want to be easeful when you're doing your meditation. And then just focusing on the sensations of the breath. And that sounds, wow, like the sensations of the breath. What's that all about? Well, it's just about noticing, what do I feel when I breathe in and when I breathe out? And finding the spot in your body where you can notice those sensations the best.
Mm.
So that spot for breathing might be the nostrils, where you can feel the cooler air moving in and the warmer air moving out. Or that spot might be the area of the chest, where you're noticing the rise and fall of the chest with each breath. Or it might be the belly, where you're noticing the in and out of the belly. Wherever you focus your attention, where you can notice the breath sensations most, that's going to be your anchor during the meditation. And so that's one very simple way of, spending just a few minutes a day to start with, to notice the sensations of the breath.
So, building on that, are
Mhm.
there ways that we can incorporate mindfulness into everyday activities, driving, grocery shopping, or even if we're, having that mind wandering when we're watching television? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, there are two different types of meditating. There's formal meditation where you're sitting and you're being guided by a voice. In this case, it'll be my voice later in today's session, or I'll give you some resources where there are others that speak and guide meditations. That's formal meditation. Then there's informal meditation, and you can do informal meditation throughout your day. So, for instance, if you're putting on a coat, you're noticing your arms going through the sleeves of the coat. You're noticing the temperature of the coat. You're noticing the texture of the material. You're noticing the sound of the zipper as it comes up, or the temperature of the zipper as you feel it for the first time in the morning. Maybe it's cold or warm. You're feeling the buttons if you have to button your coat. And that's mindfully putting on a coat. So it's about doing something and knowing that you're doing it at the same time, not having your mind in a different place, solving a problem, thinking about a memory, worrying about something that's going to come next. So that's a great example of mindfully putting on your coat. You can wash dishes mindfully. In that case, you would be noticing the smell of the soap. You would be noticing the temperature of the water. You'd be noticing your hand as it makes its way around dishes as you're scrubbing them, or maybe putting the dishes in the dishwasher. All of those sensations, smelling, hearing, feeling, those things as they're happening are mindfulness. If you're paying attention to them and know that's what you're feeling or sensing. That's what it's all about. So it's about anything you do during the day, just knowing that you're doing it as you're doing it. Sounds simple, right? But not so easy always, right? I mean, we do a lot of these things mindlessly, and we're on autopilot a lot when we do these things, not even realizing. You put on your coat and you don't even know, a minute later, how'd I get that on? I don't even remember getting it from the closet. This is what our lives look like.
And also, I'm thinking about noticing how I'm feeling. So if I'm putting a coat on, where am I going? How am I feeling about going there? I think for me, I'm a feelings forward person. So I think just noticing my feelings more would also benefit me and help to make me be more mindful in my everyday activities.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great point, Cheryl, because just stopping during the day for less than a minute to notice what's happening in my body in this moment, what's happening in my mind, what thoughts are going through my mind, and what's happening in my heart or in my feelings. Just stopping to check in with yourself during the day is a great mindfulness practice. And you can do this, before a stressful conversation that is coming up, before a meeting that know is coming up that's going to be a little bit difficult. Anytime during the day, just to check in with yourself, because we often check in with others, don't we? We don't always check in with ourselves during the day.
Would you prefer to age independently in your own home or live in a nursing facility? I know what I'd rather do. Friends Life Care membership offers just that. Plan today for a future lived at home with vitality, independence, growth, and resilience while protecting your savings. Learn about your options at a free seminar or webinar. Register at friendslifecare.org/register or call 215-628-8964. So is there an ideal amount of time or a recommended amount of time that someone should dedicate to a mindfulness meditation practice, especially someone like me who would want to just be starting out?
Sure. Well, I would suggest starting small with 5 to 10 minutes a day, and find a place in your day where you can build it in. So for some people, it might be first thing in the morning before they even get out of bed. For others, it might be before or after lunch or before they fall asleep. But find that time in the day for yourself that you are going to build in so that you don't have to try to fit it in, but it's more incorporated into your day. And I really look at my meditation practice as a gift to myself during the day. So I don't think of it as one more thing, but I think of it as a time that I can just be during the day. And that's, we're human doings more than we're human beings, but our practice gives us that space just to be. And that's really valuable during the day. So my practice has been built up to between half an hour and 45 minutes. It doesn't need to be that long. The research shows that just 10 minutes a day of mindfulness meditation is extremely helpful. And that, by the way, is what they have used with military personnel who are in very stressful war situations
Mm.
where they are making really crucial and important decisions. And they have taught them mindfulness, and it has helped them with their focus and with that bit of space so that they can so that they can respond rather than react to
Mm.
their situation. And that's one of the huge benefits of mindfulness. You learn that with that space, you have choices. And your choices are either to react mindlessly and without thinking and much skillfulness, or give yourself that little bit of space, maybe just 2 or 3 or 4 breaths before you need to respond, whether it's in conversation or whether it's in action. And just that little bit of space allows for more leveled and balanced and skillful responses to your stress during the day. And it's coming at us all day long, isn't it?
Yes.
So we really have to decide, as you have said, how are we going to respond to that stress? How are we going to act when that stress comes upon us? So that's been one of the huge ones for me, huge learnings for me.
So this, I mean, we're talking so much about the benefits and how this can help us in our day. I'm curious if there are any misconceptions people have about mindfulness that you'd like to address.
I think so. Yeah. First off, some people feel as though you need to empty your mind of thoughts, that you need to rid it of thoughts when you meditate. That isn't the purpose at all, and we can't do that anyway. So it's just impossible to do that. The purpose of mindfulness meditation is to notice those thoughts, and then in noticing them, then we have the opportunity to bring ourselves back to the present moment. So that's one of the big misconceptions. And no one can do it wrong, Cheryl. No one can do it wrong. We all have those moments of wandering, and they're going to happen many, many times during one sitting. And it's perfectly okay. We accept all of it. And we just realize that the whole purpose of the meditation is to gently focus ourselves back to the present moment. So that's one big misconception. Another one, I think, is that people tend, people may think that meditation is associated with a religion. It is not at all. It is a completely secular practice based on scientific knowledge. And so there is, in any mindfulness meditation center that teaches it, there is never a mention of religion in any way, shape, or form.
So, what does science say about the impact of mindfulness meditation on the brain and the body?
Well, I've talked about some of the effects on the body, the lowering of the blood pressure, the ability to sleep better, the improvement of the immune system. But as far as brain benefits, it helps us regulate our emotions a little bit better. And I touched on the fact that it also has an impact on anxiety and depression. So these are things that our community is suffering with, particularly anxiety and depression, I'm talking about right now, um, beyond levels that we've ever seen before. not just for older people, but for younger people as well. And so these are things that we want to try to manage as much as we can. And mindfulness is one way that you can do that without necessarily having to resort to medications. Not that those things can't be beneficial, and certainly, you would want to go to a healthcare provider if you needed, you needed those. But for me, it has been a huge sort of moderator of my emotions. So I don't have so many highs and lows. I'm able to sort of balance the emotions as I'm noticing them.
You mentioned before that you might have some recommendations for us to learn more. So, any books or apps or online resources for our listeners who might be interested in learning more about mindfulness you can share?
Absolutely. There are three great centers that offer free audio meditations. The one center is at Jefferson. So you can just type in Google Jefferson Mindfulness Audio. That's it. And you will see a variety of different kinds of meditations. By the same token, you can do that for the University of Pennsylvania. So just type in University of Pennsylvania Mindfulness Audio, and you'll see them. A great center is the one I referred to earlier, University of California at San Diego. So UCSD Mindfulness Audio. That center has the most meditations, and short ones, long ones, male voices, female voices, just everything you can imagine. So all of these are free to the public, and great, reputable centers that not just teach mindfulness, but open it up to the community to participate in.
And I will find those resources and I'll link them in the description of this episode. So if our listeners want to grab that and use them, we'll have them available. So thanks for sharing them. They sound great.
Great.
So we're coming to the close. A couple more questions before we get into our mindfulness meditation for the day. And I just want to hear what message, in addition to or adding on to everything you've communicated so far, what might you like to share with our listeners who may be hesitant about starting a mindfulness meditation practice?
Well, I would say just be open-minded about it, and treat it like, with beginner's mind, where you're just finding out about it for the first time, and go into it without expectations or goals, and give it a try. You will start to see after a short period of time the impact it has on your own life. And I can attest to that, not just myself, but with people I have come in contact with who are meditators and what it does for them. Um, One of the key tenets of mindfulness is kindness for ourselves. And just that piece alone, if you can learn more about it and integrate it into your own life, is a game changer, because we are often quite hard on ourselves during difficult moments. And just learning that we have the option, we have the choice in those stressful moments, of being kind to ourselves and gentle with ourselves, makes all the difference and has made an enormous difference on me personally. So I'd say just jump in and give it a try for a few minutes a day, and then see how it goes. See if you're noticing any differences, and see if you start to look forward to that practice more and more.
And we also have you as a resource. So, how can our listeners find you and learn more about your work and potentially connect?
Sure. I'll give you my email address. It's GLAROUNIS georgia@comcast.net. And my phone number is 215-962-4430. Those two are, vehicles for contacting me. I give classes, one session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions. They're very, very reasonable to the public. So contact me if you're interested in this and want to explore it a little bit more. And it would be my honor, really, to work with you.
And I will link your LinkedIn, your Day Vibes, your email address, and I'll put your phone number as well in the comments so people can grab them if they don't want to hit the back button here. So anything further before we get into the mindfulness meditation, which, as I told you, I've been looking forward to since last night?
I don't think so. I think I'm interested to see how people respond to the meditation. Most people, once they start, listening to the guidance and trying what's asked of them during the meditation, really have a great experience with it. So I'm interested to see people's response to this. So how about we just jump in?
Okay, I'm muting. I'm going to let you take it from here, Georgia.
So I will ring the bell once to begin our meditation. Finding a comfortable position for your body scan meditation. And the body scan meditation is a formal meditation in mindfulness practice. It allows us to notice the sensations in the body as they are happening. So know with the body scan meditation that you're not asking anything of your body at all. It's more of a receiving of sensations as they happen. And with all of it, we come to the meditation with a sense of kindness and gentleness with whatever we're noticing. So feeling an upright body if you're sitting in a chair, your bottom contacting the seat of the chair, the back against the back of the chair, feet on the ground. And noticing the chair beneath you supporting you in this moment. And by extension, the earth supporting you. Taking this moment in the midst of your life as only you can do. And know that during the body scan meditation, your mind may wander. And if it does, this is never a problem. Rather, it's an opportunity to escort the mind back to sensations in the body. So bringing awareness now to the sensations of the breath, moving in and out. Noticing the full cycle of in-breath and out-breath without trying to change or manipulate the breath in any way. Just allowing the breath to breathe itself. And now bringing attention to the area at the top of the head. And know that when you bring your attention to a particular area of the body, you may notice sensations there. So what's there for you now? Perhaps there's a tingling or a pulsing, a sense of temperature. Or maybe you're not noticing any sensations at all in this moment, and that's perfectly fine. There is no right or wrong way to feel when being mindful. Moving awareness now to the forehead, and noticing what's unfolding for you in this area. Perhaps there are creases in your forehead from lines of worry, or perhaps it's smooth and relaxed in this moment. Moving awareness to the area of the nose, from the bridge of the nose to the tips of the nostrils. Perhaps noticing the cooler air moving in through the nostrils and the warmer air moving out. Moving attention to the eyes, the area around the eyes, the creases, the eyelids, eyebrows, eyelashes. Seeing if you can sense the eyes from the inside. If your eyes are closed, seeing if you can notice any light or color as it comes through the eyelids. Bringing awareness to the chin and the jaw, an area where we may carry some tension, and just noticing if your jaw is relaxed or perhaps a bit clenched and tight. And if you're noticing any tension, just allowing the jaw to drop down ever so slightly and seeing what effect this small movement has on the rest of the muscles in the face or the neck or shoulders. Moving inside the mouth to the teeth, the gums, the palate, the tongue. Perhaps noticing any wetness or dryness in the mouth. Bringing awareness to the sides of the head, to the temples, the ears, noticing sensations in the scalp. Perhaps sensations in the back of the head. And moving awareness now to the area of the neck, the front, the sides, and the long muscles and the vertebrae in the back of the neck. And moving inside the neck to the area of the throat, perhaps noticing any constriction or openness in the throat. Moving attention to the area of the shoulders, and perhaps just noticing where your shoulders are located. Are they up high and near the ears, or down lower and back, more relaxed? Is there a weightiness or a lightness? And noticing where your attention is now. It may be on sensations in the shoulders, but maybe it's wandered to thoughts of the past or the future, to worries or fantasies. And once you notice that your mind has wandered, this is a moment of mindfulness and a chance to bring the mind back right now to sensations in the body without giving yourself a hard time, without judgment. And then just beginning again, bringing attention to the area of the arms, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, perhaps noticing the touch of clothing on the skin or the weight of your arms with gravity. Moving to the area of the wrists and the hands, and noticing the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands, the fingers and the joints. Perhaps there's a numbness, a tingling, a vibration, or that perhaps there's no sensation at all right now in your hands. Noticing any of this is just being mindful of sensations in the moment. Bringing awareness up the arms and over the shoulders to the area of the back, the upper back, the shoulder blades, and the muscles and the vertebrae in between the shoulder blades. Moving down to the mid-back and the lower back, an area where we sometimes hold our stress. Feeling sensations in the whole back in this moment. And now bringing awareness up the back and over the shoulders to the front of the body, the collarbone, the chest bone, the rib cage and the ribs as they wrap around the body. Perhaps noticing the rise and fall of the chest with each breath you take. Noticing any sensations you may feel in your heart. Heartfelt feelings of joy, sadness, compassion may reside here. Perhaps being still enough to notice the beating of your heart. Moving attention down the front of the body to the area from hip bone to hip bone, the area of the pelvis, the pelvic floor, the genitals, the buttocks. Being aware of the processes of reproduction and elimination that take place in the pelvis. Moving awareness down to the area of the thighs, the front of the thighs, and the long bones on the muscles and the backs of the thighs. Noticing where your attention is now. Perhaps it's on sensations in the thighs, or perhaps it's wandered off to some virtual reality of some sort. And whether this happens 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times, it's never a problem. This is just what the mind does. And in that moment of noticing, you are already back and you're doing the practice just right. In the moment of noticing, you can escort the attention back to sensations in the body, right now in the thighs, with kindness and care. And beginning again, moving down to the area of the knees, the kneecaps, the sides of the knees, and the backs of the knees. And now down to the shins and the calves. Just allowing sensations to be as they are. Moving awareness to the ankles and the feet, and noticing the soles of the feet, the arches, the balls and the heels, and the tops of the feet, the toes, and maybe even discerning the spaces between your toes. And now expanding your awareness to include sensations in the whole body, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. Noticing the dance of sensations in the whole body from moment to moment. And as this meditation comes to a close, know that you can bring your attention back to sensations in the body at any time during your day to anchor and ground you to the present moment. Anytime, anywhere. And receiving the sounds of the bell. And if your eyes have been closed, just allowing them to float open in your own time. And bringing in your surroundings.
Thank you so much, Georgia. That was a gift. And thank you for being our guest and sharing your knowledge and that beautiful meditation I'm going to take with me for the rest of my day.
Thank you so much. It was my honor to be with you today, Cheryl. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Honestly Aging by Friends Life Care VigR, a unique program focused on aging with vitality, independence, growth, and resilience. You can find links and show notes from this episode on our website at friendslifecare.org/podcast. Thank you to Georgia Larounis for joining us today. You can learn more about Georgia by visiting dayvibes.org and LinkedIn. And thank you to Nick Dieterding for editing all the Honestly Aging episodes. If you like our show, please rate, review, subscribe, and join us next time. To learn more about aging with vitality, independence, growth, and resilience, subscribe to our blog at friendslifecare.org/blog.